guys, welcome back to Jurassic Collectibles. So today we're going to continue our look at the Safari Ltd 2015 line by looking at this guy. It's the Yutyrannus. Now this is a very special dinosaur. Not only is it a Tyrannosaurid, so it's closely related to the Tyrannosaurus, but it is actually the largest known dinosaur specimen that exhibits feathers. Now although this guy was discovered in 2004 in northeastern China, it wasn't classified until 2012 as Yutyrannus hawali, and that's how we know him today. So it's a really recent find for Safari Ltd to have made into a figure. Now is it me, or does this Yutyrannus look a little bit like the Tauntaun from Star Wars? So without further ado, let's take a closer look at this guy. So starting off with a head sculpt, you can see we've got a really detailed scaly head going on, very slim and predatory like, with this nice sort of brush of red running along the ridges of the skull. Really nice, really nicely sculpted and painted teeth overhanging the bottom jaw, and really nicely detailed eyes as well, and they've got a little bit of gloss. It's hard to see in this light, but there is a little bit of gloss on the eye, giving it that sort of genuine wet look. And I really like the weathering that's been done on this head to bring out all of these lovely scales. As we move down the neck, you can see there's some lovely patterning going on in these feathers. Looks like a mane of feathers, a bit like you'd get on birds of paradise, which I think is really cool. As we move down into the body, you can see there's all this lovely sculpted feathery fur going on all the way across the body, and it's got these lovely sort of curves and undulations running through it, which gives it this very naturalistic look. As we move down to the arm, you can see the feathers are hanging off of the limbs. It's not just clinging to the body, which is really nice. And then we've got this really nicely sculpted and painted hand claw. They've used a nice wash to bring out all that detail in the fingers. And then you can see there's a glossy black applied to the finger claws. So really nice detail there. As we move into the leg, again you can see all these lovely curves and undulations in the fur, and actually the feathers here are coming off the back of the leg, they're not just clinging to the shape of the musculature. And then as we move down to the lower leg, you can see the nice indication of musculature here as the feathery fur gets a little bit thinner, and then as we come further down the leg you can see the feathers stop just around here. They're sort of nice frayed at the edges there, nicely painted as well. And you can see the very bird-like, ostrich-like feet underneath, and the individually painted toe claws in a nice glossy black. As we move back up to the tail, again this lovely feathered fur detail continues all the way down to the end of the tail, and it's got much more thickness to it because you'd expect the feathers to be sort of splaying off in the two separate directions, so that's really nice. And then coming back across the other side, really nicely sculpted feathery fur detail. You even get some feeling of it sort of being layered here. And then as we come down this leg, again really nicely sculpted feathery fur. And then as we move down to the feet, really nicely sculpted and weathered. The underside has also been sculpted, and you can just see the dew claw on the back there with the claws individually painted. And then as we move back up to the chest, you can see here the feathery fur has almost been pushed forward as this leg comes forward. So it's a nice contrasting pose of the leg forward here and the leg back on the opposite side. And then as we come up to the arm on the opposite side, you can see the feathers hanging off this limb too, and the nice weathering that's been applied to these finger claws. Really nice. We come back up to that mane of feathers and the head sculpt. Looking great. Just how big is this guy? If we get out the tape measure, you're looking at about 8.5 inches, about 21-22 centimeters long. And then in terms of the height, you're looking at about 3.5 inches, which is about 9 centimeters tall. Size comparison time, let's bring in the Safari Ltd Concavenator. And you can see that the Concavenator is just a little bit taller than this one. I'm really fond of this figure, great sculpt and great paint job. If you haven't seen the review for this one, link is down below. Next up, here's the Yutyrannus next to the recently released Archaeopteryx from Safari Ltd. And again, we have reviewed this one on the channel, link is down below. This one and the Amargasaurus are still my favourite models from Safari Ltd, so definitely check that one out. And lastly, here's the Yutyrannus next to Off-Color Alan. Gives you some idea of how big this Yutyrannus is next to Jurassic Park figures. Thanks, Alan. There he goes. He's leaving the review table. So there we have it, guys. That was today's look at the 2015 Yutyrannus, a spectacularly detailed model from Safari Ltd. They really are upping their game in 2015. If you haven't seen our review for the very detailed Archaeopteryx, check out the link down below. Also, the Amargasaurus is a really impressive one from last year in 2014, and we'll put a link to that one down below as well. If you got this far in the video, I want you to leave a comment down below stating what's your favourite dinosaur from the Safari Ltd line. In the meantime, guys, rate, comment and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.